You mentioned tennis and surfing. I'm gonna start with Kubi tennis because Kubi
All
tennis
right.
means a whole lot to me, and
Yeah.
I'm also very pissed. I'm pissed at you. Not gonna lie,
Yeah. I know. I was gonna
absolutely
tell that
pissed.
story.
Big pissed. Big pissed. I gave my heart and soul to Kubasaki tennis, and anyone who knew me as part of Kubasaki tennis, that was literally my life.
Yep.
That not ashamed to admit that.
Yep.
Nothing more that I like than playing tennis
No.
for the Dragons and kicking some Panther ass. But Aiden, who's a wonderful guy, I remember I met you my freshman year. You were an eighth grader. I was like, this is my dude, man. Like, I felt like I was the youngest one out there. So whenever I met someone younger than me, I was like, holy shit, bro. I'm like, dude, we're gonna be best friends. Like, he's like,
Mhm.
he's pretty bad, but like, I see the potential. Like, he's gonna be good. You know, he seems like a really cool guy. He's always smiling. Like, pretty happy dude. So I'm like, we're vibing all season. I don't think we became like best friends or anything. And then for the next 2 or 3 years that I'm there, you were like, nope, not actually gonna play tennis. Whenever the team was this close, like we got second place in Far East 2 years in a row. We were so
No.
close to getting over the hump, and we just needed like one more, like pretty solid boy player. And Aiden, do you want to tell him what you did instead? You went out with Miss
Wait, I should tell
Stevens
my
on
I
the
should tell
Okinawa
my story.
countryside. What do you
Let me
mean?
start from the
You did
beginning.
cross country instead. You
Yes,
did
I
cross
know.
country.
Dude, you know how bad I feel about it. I think about. I can't even tell you how
You're
often
like,
I
I can
think
barely
about it.
sleep at night.
I think
Bullshit,
about
man.
it all the time.
I told you like
Okay,
every
okay.
day.
Let
I'm
me
like,
tell a story.
Aiden,
Let me
you
tell a
need to
story.
play tennis.
Let
Okay.
me tell a story. I grew up taking tennis lessons with my mom. I
We're
never like. I
starting
never.
all the way back there.
Yeah. I never. I like telling a story. I never. I never was that passionate about it because I was young. You know, we're just like thinking balls.
Thinking balls.
Eighth grade comes around. It's when eighth graders could like come up and do sports. You know,
Yeah,
Kai
yeah.
Grubbs, who I'm like, is like my best friend. He's like, yo, come play tennis, like
Mm-hmm.
with Miss Davis, right? And I was terrified. I was
Shout out Miss
so
Davis.
scared because Kai Grubbs was always hanging around high schoolers. He had the volleyball team. He had the baseball team. All he could talk about in middle school was like, oh, I'm hanging around with high schoolers, which is cool. But we all thought we like not worshipped him because of it, but we were like, dude, you're so cool. You know what I
It
mean?
is true. That man, he grew up on those Kubasaki baseball teams. Like
Exactly.
I
He
see
really
like old
did.
pictures. It's like it might as well be
Yeah,
black and white. That's how old it looks.
exactly.
And there's
He's
Kai
like
Grubbs,
fifth
like baby Kai
grade.
Grubbs.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So I get there and like he's talking to all the like Marky Barley or whatever. I don't know if he was there that year, but he's talking to whoever, and like not leaves me, but I'm just like we're like in Miss Davis's room, and this blonde kid
This
who
blonde kid.
I'm trying to like make him, but I keep hearing them, people call him Shannon. I'm like, is that Shannon or is the girl next to him Shannon? You know what I mean? Meanwhile, now I'm like, dude, that's a sick name. I'm like, who is this? And he's got this super long hair. He's got the visor backwards. Comes up to
Dude.
me, and I'm like, he's like, yo, you seem cool because I had super long blonde hair, and you had
Yeah, we had
super.
the same haircut. We had the same like
You were like,
awful
dude,
haircut.
yeah, you were exactly. You were like, dude, I like your hair. I was like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So scared. And you were like, yeah, you gotta keep playing tennis. It's awesome. Whatever. Whole season goes by. We're like, kind of like you said, we're like kind of buddy, not like super close. And my dad, who's like a athlete, marathon guy, he's like, dude, you should just run cross country. It's so good for you. You know what I mean? You should just do it. He's like trying to convince me all year. I'm like, yeah, because like when I was in fifth grade to kind of seventh grade, before I kind of started growing, I wasn't fat, but I was like a little chunky, blah blah blah. Kinda. If you like see pictures,
I love how far back the story has to continue to go to explain why you didn't play tennis for a few years. You have to make it so much deeper.
I'm just thinking of
like your
excuses,
excuse. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna wait. Just keep on going.
And I was like, I didn't really know that many people. Like, it was fun, but it wasn't that fun. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't that into it yet.
You were an eighth grader. What do you expect? Like, you didn't know.
Exactly. I didn't know. And so I'm just thinking, like, I'm a stupid freshman. I'm like, I want to be in shape. I want to be jacked.
Yeah.
Cross country is not how you get jacked. PSA. and so Shannon, this is exactly what happens. And these texts still haunt me. Shannon, you text me probably 2 or 3 weeks before school starts my freshman year. And you go, hey, man, like you're just full on assuming I'm playing tennis, which is awesome, by the way. And I have done.
As I should. You were on the team last year.
I want you to know that I have done what you did to me to so many kids, and I've gotten them to play tennis. But some of them have said no. I have, and he goes, hey, we're having some like totally. I was so honored. He was like, hey, we're having some preseason practices at Kadena or wherever. If you want to come out, I'd love to see you. Blah blah. I was like, dude, this kid's thinking about me after like. because we didn't have classes freshman year. Like after the
Mm-mm.
whole freshman year, you know what I mean? I was like, he thought to text me. And I was like, what a guy. But I had already like made my decision to play cross country, and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry.
You don't
Running
play
cross
cross
country.
country, by the way. You just
Oh yeah, sorry.
it's
I
just like
run cross
obligated
country. I know.
cardio. You don't
I'm
play.
so used. I'm
You're like
saying. I'm so used to playing
I already
tennis.
committed to jogging after school, so therefore I cannot play tennis.
That's exactly right. I was like, I'm committed to running cross country. I'm really sorry. I've already been going to their preseason stuff. And you were so pissed at me.
I was pissed.
You were like, you were like, dude, what the heck? And then I'm trying to think. The next year, sophomore year comes, you do the same thing. You're like, hey, just to make sure you
Yeah, I remember.
had a change in heart.
Like the previous text was still up there. Like whenever I was sending the new one.
I was the only time you
Yeah.
ever texted. It was like, hey, just making sure if you want to come out, we're doing the same thing. And I told you again.
Yeah.
Then that year, we like really got to know each other. We had like a couple classes together, like stats and
Yeah, it was my
pre-calc or
junior
something.
year. Yeah.
And Milanovich's classes where we really hung out, and you and Henry played tennis. So it was me, you, and Henry. We'd sit together. You and Henry played tennis. Milanovich was the tennis or assistant coach, you know, whatever. And you guys would just drill me all year, even after the season was over. Imagine running cross country. I was like, bro. And honestly, I'm glad you did, because the abuse is partly what made me want to play tennis. But blah blah blah. And then so what happens is, after junior year, Shannon moves. And that summer,
Right, I moved back to the States.
He moves back to the States. He leaves his pride and joy. And I go, hey, just letting you know I'm playing tennis. So mad. You were like, after I leave, you play tennis? And I was so bummed too, because I knew during the year, I was like, I think I'm going to switch to tennis. But I wasn't telling, you know, I was trying to act like a pro athlete, like keeping it on the down low.
Right.
And when you told me you moved, I was like, no, because I really want to play tennis with you. And I ended up like loving it, and I'll probably play tennis the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And I like quickly improved, and I started taking it pretty seriously. And this was my junior year, and I didn't do great in the matches. I was ranked number 3.
As long as you beat RJ, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and so I beat RJ. Like I started doing decent. It was fun. Like it was mainly like I did it for Henry. Like Henry and Kai convinced me, because I was like, you know what? Like I have nothing. I had nothing in cross country. Like I went to Far East my sophomore year for cross country. I didn't do well. It was like I was like, this isn't fun. Like why not play tennis with my best friends? And then I started taking it seriously. And like of course, you know, it causes some conflict. I'm like, all of a sudden now I'm competing against my best friend. So it's like me and Henry are very similar skill level the whole junior year.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that sucked, because it's like we do everything together, and then it's like now we have to play against each other. So for a while there, that wasn't too fun. But, you know, I ended up like super loving it. And then I went to Far East tennis, and we didn't do very well because, you know, we didn't have you, and our girls were terrible.
Yeah, I don't know who was left on the girls.
Yeah, it was just Willow and Natalie. But I mean, like even still. I mean, they did all right. Like, don't get me wrong. They're
Willow's fantastic.
I should not say
she
that.
Improved. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I shouldn't say that like because of the girls, because realistically, I did really bad too. I lost in like the 3rd round or something. So, but yeah, so we just, you know, I think we got 4th, but it was so fun. And then and then COVID hit, and I was so worried that we weren't going to get a tennis season with senior year without COVID, and we did. And then this is when Vincent had left. We won't go into Vincent because she is a crazy legendary coach, and I miss her a lot. And because the new coach, hopefully he's not watching this, was not great.
Oh really?
And, yeah. And I mean, dude, if you ever talk to Henry about him, Henry and him have had some interesting words, but
some beef.
Yeah, for sure. Because he's like, his thing is like, he acts mature, but really he's not, and he likes to beef with kids. Like they see things to piss him off, and like he says it back. It's like siblings. Like him and Henry are like siblings, and you're like, really? You're like, be mature. I'm hoping he's not watching this, because honestly, in the classroom, I loved the guy. He was a new culinary teacher. He was a great dude in the classroom.
No more Vanderbloemen?
No, Vanderbloemen switched to history after like everyone was complaining about Noga. He was like, I'm gonna do something about this, and so he switched to history. Yeah, he is what he is. But he was a great teacher. He was just, as a tennis coach, he just wasn't as like crazy as Vincent, which was all right. But
I mean, just in comparison to Miss Vincent, though, like there's really like it's
oh
definitely a tough
yeah,
coach to
that's
follow.
like the top of the list compared to
Yeah.
like yeah, no, it's hard. But yeah, it was good. I love tennis, and then so senior year, now I'm like reaching the top, and Kai Grubbs is up there, and I'm like trying to be Kai Grubbs. And I like the new coach was like he wanted us to do the challenge thing, like classic high school
Yeah.
style. And I just like I felt weird challenging Kai Grubbs every week, so I didn't really do it.
Hmm.
And I was a nice guy, and like there were some weeks where I knew Kai Grubbs was having like off days because you know how he is with like all
Yeah.
his injuries.
He would
But
like forget how to hit forehands or something.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
couldn't challenge him. So basically, what ended up happening was I never challenged him because the way Kadena did it is they thought that it was just going to be Kai, me, Henry, Kai, me, Henry. So they're
Hmm.
like at a classic high school, one always plays one, two always plays two, three always
Yeah.
plays three. They were like, well, we don't want to do that. We're like Kubi and Kadena. So they would just rotate Brett, RJ, and Justin
Right.
to play all of us. So even if I went to number one, they would just figure out who I haven't played yet to play.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever, I'll just wait. So then we have our
Yeah.
like district tournament, and me and Kai Grubbs are winning all the way to the end, or maybe to the semifinals. I don't remember. And it's like now this is me versus Kai Grubbs, and everybody's
Yeah.
watching. And dude, it was a hell of a match. Like we played, I think we played best 2 out of 3 sets. No, we must not have. I think we played.
This is crazy, like how parallel this is to like exactly what happened to me. Go ahead.
Oh, really? With
Yeah,
Kenneth?
you with
Or
Kenneth
who?
and Garrett. Yeah, just like
Dang,
my circle of 3 friends and
yeah.
like rotating against Kadena.
It really is. It's very
Mhm.
similar. And we played, and like there's people in that. There actually people came, and it was like kind of a big
Yeah.
deal. And I was doing really well. Like I broke him right away, and I think I was up, and then he started coming back, and then all of a sudden he just could not serve, and like he was double faulting like crazy. And we ended up going, and it ends up being, it was 8-7.
Hmm.
I'm up, but you know how you have to win by like 2 or whatever. And so I'm serving. Wait, no, I'm trying to remember.
You good?
I think it was 8-7, and I'm serving to make it 9-7 and win.
Hmm.
And I'm like winning. And then I think I get it to 40-30. And I kid you, I think about this point all the time. I don't remember the score, but I think about this point. Beautiful serve in. Kai Grubb gets it. I hit a nice forehand to his backhand in the back corner. And he barely gets it and does his slice thing, but really
Yeah.
high. And I'm like, this is it. I just have to hit this smash. And I go to kill it, and I hit it out. And that was match
Damn.
point. And I
There it
hit it
is.
out, and he won that game, and he came back and won like 10-8. It was like the most intense match ever, and he won. I mean, like there was like that was the only match ever that I would grunt. Like there were some points that I grunted. Like at the end, like we were both crying. It was so intense, dude. It was like the most intense tennis match of my life,
Mhm.
and it was great. He won. Like I just wanted to say I beat him once, but
Yeah.
I technically never beat him. And yeah, it was good. It was all in good times. Now there's nothing really we could do. And immediately after that, a month later, he stopped playing tennis, and I did. I could wreck him now, I'm sure. But it's like.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It was very fun. But yeah, now I will hold tennis near and dear to my heart. Sadly, not with you though.
Yeah. No. It's cool. You know what? The beef is squashed. I think we're good. I was holding on to it until this very second, but I think we're good.
Yeah. We'll have to meet up and play one day.
Ton of for sure. I'm trying out for the Penn State club team. That's this weekend. I think I'm going to make it, which is very exciting. The travel
That's cool.
team.
I didn't know you were still playing.
So we're gonna get to. So we're gonna get to move
awesome.
around, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, a ton of respect to Kai Grubbs because I mean, after my sophomore year, Kenny and Garrett both moved, so it was like pretty clear that Kai Grubbs was going to have to be my doubles partner. And like he put in a lot of work because he just knew that like I was going to have high expectations of him because I'm trying to win Far East every year.
Yeah.
And he worked his ass off going into that season, just make himself like so much a much better player. Yeah. And it paid off. Did he ever tell you about the doubles match we had? We were down 2-5 in Far East and against EJ King or something. And he just flipped the switch and we came back. It was fantastic. So yeah, he's great.
He does that. Like we had a like a little tournament. I think we called it districts, and we called like our district our
districts.
where me and him were doubles partners, and this might have been my junior year actually. I kind of think it was, yeah, where we were in the semifinals playing Matt Steele. Do you know Matt Steele?
I hate that kid. Sorry.
Yeah.
So much Matt Steele slander.
Matt Steele and Justin, because they're 3 and 4.
Justin's
and we're
cool.
thinking this should be we're thinking this should be an easier match. Like I had played Justin, beaten him, lost to him, blah blah. But Kai Grubbs was definitely beating both of them, and I had beaten Matt Steele. So we're thinking, all right, we should do this. We're like struggling, and Kai Grubbs kind of goes into like his shutdown mode where like we're no longer really talking. He's kind of just like,
he does, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
got to reel him back in.
Yeah, and like it was really tough, and we won. We were playing 8, and we won 9-7. So it was like by the skin of our teeth. And I remember after that, we talked to Milanovic, and like Kai Grubbs was crying, and I was about to cry because he was like, dude, what are you guys doing? He's like, you're not talking to each other. You're not playing normal tennis. You're not playing at the net.
Yeah.
We're like, you're right. And we talked to each other. We like shaped up, and then we went to play RJ and Brett in the finals, and we won like 8-1. We like wrecked them.
Yeah.
And I pretty much played the same, both. I like the first one, like I don't want to say I was playing better than Kai Grubbs, but I was definitely not caring, but like that was my junior year, dude. Oh my God, I would just ace people. My serve was like on fire. So like that would help. And then come our finals match, oh dude, Kai Grubbs just kept hitting winners down the line. It was like they had no chance. And meanwhile, this is RJ and Brett who were like supposed to be the better of them. It was, it was good.
RJ and Brett, I always thought they were just like, I thought they were funny, to be honest. Like just watching them go out there. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
RJ was like in our friend, like me, Henry, Kai Grubbs, and RJ all went to middle school together, and we were so mad at him, kind of like you mad at me, that he went to Kadena. We were like, what the hell, dude? Like you're supposed to go to Kubi with this. But imagine, like if we would have had RJ at Kubi. I know RJ is an interesting tennis player.
Bro, that poor guy. I used to just
if we would have had him at Kubi though, dude, we might have had a chance. Like from freshman year, you guys probably would have won Far East that year.
He was not ready. Like he didn't like the intensity that I took into Kubasaki tennis, which is like way overboard, way more than what was probably necessary. But just like putting that all on him every week, like I don't know how he was like okay. Like I don't know how he wasn't depressed. Like just because I would come up with like the face paint, just like blaring music, just like full on intensity.
Just wreck it.
Yeah. Which I mean, it's not about the score. It's not. But we're just all here to have a good time.
Exactly. But it is kind of about the score.
It's 100% about the score. We don't lose to Kadena. FIFO, whatever. Milanovic, I have to say something about Milanovic because he doesn't get enough credit for this. You know, we talk about like his stats or whatever and whatnot, but like those like 2 seasons that I had him like in my corner, you know, just like talking to me. He always knew like when to talk to me, when not to talk to me, when to leave me alone, and he always like reminds you what makes you a good player. And he's like he's not a tennis expert by any stretch of the imagination. No, and he's not even like that good, but like he does know what he's saying whenever he's just trying to support you on the court. And you know, that's really valuable to have in a coach.
I mean, it seems like he's been around tennis his like whole life, and he grew up in like tennis central. So and he's the kind of guy who's like me and you and Henry, like we love Milanovic and we're close to him, but like he can be a little awkward at times, you know what I mean? So if he goes out of his way to talk to you, because like he doesn't always like love talking to people. So if he's going out of his way to talk to you, you know he like really wants you to do well, and it means a lot to him. So yeah, definitely probably one of my all-time favorite teachers, and will always be one of my all-time favorite teachers. But yeah,
and he like matched the intensity that I brought as well, which like meant a lot to me because like I would come in, I'd just be talking tennis because like I didn't even tell you about this. Like I read the Stars and Stripes like scoreboards of all the tennis matches in the Pacific, like throughout the tennis season. Yeah, because I need to see who like the competition and whatnot is. Even the year after I left, I would like read and see if your dumbass lost or something. You know, I'd always be checking out. I'm like, Kai Grubbs, what is going on?
Yeah, right?
He'd get so annoyed with me because he lost 1 week. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And, he's like, Shan, leave me alone.